Hi, my name is India O'Donnell-Fleur. I'm a student here at Lincoln University studying environmental policy and planning. I'm doing a project on protecting our future plant health. I've been working in collaboration with B3 and DEFRA, which is a UK company, to value the international Sentinel plant network and figure out the feasibility of genetic surveillance in a foreign country. This will be used to help improve biosecurity and gives an opportunity for New Zealand to look into ways in which this framework works and doesn't work that DEFRA has provided. The International Plant Sentinel Network is relatively new. Its aim is to look at plants in foreign countries to determine any pests and pathogens that might be a threat back in their host country. This is a pilot study that has never been done before, and it's an international trial between Australia and New Zealand. These guidelines and methods and surveys have been created by DEFRA and have been used across the whole country. My aim is to look at English oak, Scots pine and roses for this. These are obviously of high economic and cultural value to the UK and can determine any potential risk organisms if we find any associations that they are unaware of. The gardens involved are Auckland, Christchurch, Dunedin and Palmerston North. The locations that I have completed the surveys in is the Lincoln University Arboretum and the Christchurch Botanic Gardens. I also decided to use some of my social research skills that I've learned at university and interviewed the curators from the gardens around New Zealand who were working within the same framework and completing the same surveys as I have been. I wanted to determine how this was carried out and the challenges that they faced with this, and also how it was managed and interpreted. The method I used when surveying the plants was a visual observation where I circled the plant at the top and bottom to be able to see it from all directions. I then recorded the context, environment and management of the plant on an individual basis and backed this up with images of any chewing damages, pests and diseases that I saw. I then collected samples along with this and gave them to entomologists and pathologists for identification after this. The process for the interviews was creating a questionnaire and then completing a social research ethics application with ag research. I then recorded and transcribed these using a software called Vivo to analyze the same themes that I found. These are some of the images that I took and some of my findings. The top one is the Rosa species, where I found a scale, and this is a type of rust pathogen. On the English oak, I found a variety of physalids and aphids. These were all on the undersides of the leaf, concentrated around the rib. Interestingly, in the second survey that I did in the summertime, there was slightly less. And over there is a Sushi Mold that I found as well. The most interesting that I found out of everything was on the Scots pine, and this was some kind of beetle larvae that we haven't been able to identify yet. This is also another example of the dieback disease that we found on Scots pine during both surveys. I had some interesting findings from my social research as well. So the main findings that I found was that there was need for taxonomic identification because there's potential inaccuracy with remote diagnostics. The photos and information that we give to DEFRA may not be enough to accurately identify what these pests and pathogens might be and whether they are a threat. There was also variations in the methods used throughout the country from the interviews, and the survey form was quite generic and could have included more information. However, it was perceived that sentinel planting had great value despite there being no new pests and pathogen plant associations made. This has been awesome to be a small part of such a big project that focuses on improving bioprotection. Thank you to all my supervisors and everyone from bioprotection.
Questions for India?
Issues?
Somebody online?
Questions?
No? You mute yourself.
So, two of your three species are trees, and obviously it can be challenging to sample the full height of trees. How did you deal with that?
Yes, that was one of the findings I took away as well when I was deciding whether this survey would be suitable to do, is that the English oaks were massive and I could really only survey the bottom part of the trees, the branches that were hanging most low. So that was just a fact to consider and information to give back to DEFRA when they are figuring out the feasibility of doing the study.
Do you think that would affect the accuracy of the results?
Potentially, because there could be a pest or pathogen up the top that only grows in the crown of the plant that I might not be able to find. So that also means that there's quite limited like resourcing in terms of how well we could complete this survey.
Other questions? So on a related note, if you ever get a chance to look at rose hips, the fruit, often there are wasps that feed in the seeds there. So you might want to check those as well. Not just the leaves, but the fruit can be infested as well.
Yeah, we checked the cones as well in the trunk.
Okay.
But we couldn't check the roots either because obviously we can't pull any of the trees off. Thank you.
So,